Alright, so we'll assemble this one together so you can have a better sense of it. So hopefully you can see everything I'm doing. So I've got all of these pieces in this one already. This one just needs to have these pounded in. Try and stay out of your way. So again, what I'm trying to do is line this straight edge of this one up with the edge on that. Because if you don't get it lined up, then the two pieces don't go together very well. And then these two, which are different from those other ones, I'm going to be lining this open part. You can see it's kind of round. There's an open end on it. This open end faces out so that the screw could go in there. You should see this a little better when I put it together. So they just push right in. Like that. Okay. So now, just like the one that we just put together that you saw, there's going to be a bottom. Get that out of the way. There's going to be a bottom down here and a top up there. So we can put the bottom in first. And the only real trick here is you can see there's a finished edge on this. Not finished on this side, finished on that side. This has a finish on this side. So we just want to have this pointing the same way as that. So what we're going to do is put this together like this. And hopefully you can see from up there. These two pins, these just slide right over the top of those pins like that. And then we use a Phillips head screwdriver to just turn it until it stops. It's about 180 degrees. Turn it until it stops, and there you go. You're now hooked up. Now, I should have put that on second. It's harder for you to see the top now. Let me slide this way. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing with the top. So the top has a finished edge again, and these little pegs in it. So this peg, these two pegs are going to go in here, where I just pushed these in. Again, hopefully you can see all this. And I'm just pushing those in like that. Like that. And then we take I'm going to use a flat screwdriver on this one and turn that just a little bit. Doesn't have to turn very far. This should actually turn farther. I don't know why that's not turning farther. Well, let me take it apart here and see what I did wrong. It should turn about 180 degrees. Come on, baby. What did I do wrong there? Putting it in the wrong way. Shouldn't have. That should be just fine. Let's try it that way. Let's see if it goes in there even. Yeah, see, that didn't go in there. I keep turning it till it'll go in there. Clockwise. Do this one clockwise. there we go. It was just a little stuck, that's all. Okay, good. So, now you've seen that bit. Now what I do with it is this way, is I turn this up like this, rather than try to put those together like that. Well, you know what, let's do it the other way. Let's do it this way. So let's leave these down here. Now I'm going to take this and do the same thing here, except that way. First thing I'm going to do is put them in here. And then these slide in just like we did the other ones. Now you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing here, but it's the same thing that I did down below. Just turn that like that. Turn this one clockwise again, 180 degrees. There we go. These guys are turned as well. Here we go. And there we go. And it's not super strong at this point because there's not a back on it. But there it is, assembled. Now I'll show you real quick how these work. So they have these little studs on them and they fit right into these. So it would work like this. So they should line right up there. Oops, I got backwards this one. So they line up this way. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's one. Same thing on this side. See, there's the little studs. And they're going to line up here. 4. There we go. Now, if I want to tighten them in, I can, but I don't think I want to. Oh, you know what? I think I did get those wrong. They go on the other way. Sorry about that. They do go in this way, like that. So that this edge is flush. Voila. So I don't want to tighten these in just yet, these guys, because I need to get drawers and shelves into this thing, and I don't want to have these in the way. So, and I might not even be able to use these because the drawers may have to come in and out of there. But there you go. So this unit now stacks on top of the other unit, and that gets it up higher. You could have them separate, I suppose, but in my case, we're going to stack them on top of one another when we get in the closet. So I'll show you how that looks in just a minute. All right, so before we go any farther, the next step is to identify where the studs are, because we're going to need to hook these to the wall. And we do that by putting a bracket. Look around the back side here. We can put a bracket that screws in up here, and then it screws into the wall. So let's go look for some studs in this closet area. Now this is going to look kind of boring because it's one big blank wall. I'm going to try to show you what I was doing here. So I've already marked it. This is the center of this wall. So I've got over here to over there. So the center is right here. And what I'm looking for are where the studs are. And I use this gadget. If you haven't used one before, it's called a stud finder. And there you go, that's what it looks like. It uses like ultrasound to go through the wall to see where there's an opening behind the wall versus a piece of wood. So if you're coming across the wall and there's a piece of wood, the sound waves will bounce off this better than they will off the empty cavity, and they'll give you a center. So I'll show you what that looks like. I've already marked them. So here's one of the studs and here's another. So it looks like this when I pull it across here. Nothing, 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 and then there you go. Hopefully you can see that little red light. And then I did the same thing over here. And nothing, 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 until right there. So here's a little known fact, and that is, well, it's known by builders and carpenters, and that is that walls with wooden studs in them tend to space the studs on regular intervals. And so if I look at those two marks, I see that it's 16 inches between studs. So if I go over here 16 inches, I'll find the next one, and 16 inches this way the same way. So now my question is, this is right in the middle of these two studs. So the center line for this, and what I need to find out is if I can hit those, screw into those studs with the units when I put them up there. So let me check on that and get back to you. All right, so the inside of the units are about 23, almost 24 inches. So if I put my 12-inch mark, sorry if it's be upside down, here we go. So if I put my 12 inches there, that's 24 here to there. That shows me that my stud marks, which are here and here, are inside of where I need to be. So that means I can screw this to the wall using those two studs. So it's all good to go ahead. Show you how that looks now. All right, so here's the two units inside the closet, stacked on top of one another. That's what they'll look like when they're in there. And if we come in here and have a look, here's my center line right there. And then here and here are where the studs are. So what I will do is put a bracket up here. Just got to get you in there. Put a bracket up here into one of the studs, and up there into one of the studs. And then, and then also screw it into this. And that keeps it from wobbling like this. And then down here, same thing. So I'll find the center line, which is right there. I know my studs are about here and here. And what I'll do is put a screw into the stud here and a bracket. Same thing over here. And that will make these good and sturdy. Now, for those of you who are into this kind of thing, from an engineering standpoint, what did I do there? Oh,